In the vastness of the Pacific, there is a place where silence feels ancient, where the wind carries secrets older than memory, and where giants carved from volcanic stone stand watch over a world that is forgotten there. Creators. This is Rapa Nui Easter Island, a speck of land lost in the endless blue, yet home to one of humanity's greatest mysteries. It's a monument to ingenuity, belief, and downfall, etched into the very bones of the earth. Thousands of kilometers from any continent, isolated beyond imagination, the island rises from the sea like a whispered legend. Its shores are guarded by the solemn faces of the Moai, those towering stone sentinels that seem to stare not outward at the ocean, but inward into time itself. To stand before them is to feel the weight of centuries pressing close, a quiet grandeur that seeps into the soul, urging us to ask, who carved these giants? How did they move them? And what became of the people who dared to shape stone as if sculpting their own immortality? The story begins more than 1,000 years ago, when Polynesian navigators among the finest sailors the world has ever known crossed unimaginable distances guided only by stars, winds, and waves. They found an island uninhabited, an untouched paradise of forests, birds, and fertile soil. A small world waiting for human hands to shape it. These voyagers became the Rapa Nui people, and on this remote triangle of volcanic rock, they built a culture unlike any other on Earth. At the heart of their society lay the Moai enormous statues carved from the tuff of the Rano Raraku volcano. Some stood 3 meters tall, others nearly 20. Each represented an ancestral leader, a guardian spirit, a conduit between the living and the divine. They were not idols, but embodiments of monospiritual power believed to protect the community. Carving them was an act of reverence. Raising them was a promise to the future. But the Moai were more than stone. They were feats of engineering bordering on the impossible. Hundreds were quarried using only basalt chisels, shaped by teams of workers who chipped at the rock for months, sometimes years. And then came the greatest challenge of all, moving them across the island as rugged terrain to their ahu platforms near the coast. Theories about wooden sledges, ropes, rolling logs, but the oral traditions of the Rapa Nui speak of something more miraculous. The statues walked. Modern experiments show this legend may hold truth, with coordinated pulling and rocking. The statues can indeed be maneuvered upright, swaying forward step by step like colossal. Stone-bodied travelers. Imagine such a sight centuries ago, long lines of chanting workers guiding a massive Moai as it walks along the earth, its shadow stretching over the island like a moving monument to human will. This was a society driven by competition and pride. Each clan strove to build the tallest, most magnificent Moai, each seeking to honor its ancestors with more grandeur than the last. For generations, the island thrummed with this rhythm, carving, raising, worshipping. But beneath the pride grew a tension as silent as the statues. The forests that once sheltered birds and provided timber for canoes and supports began to thin. Palm trees, some older than any Moai, were felled in greater and greater numbers. With them went the birds, the soil's protection, the stability of the ecosystem. The island that had once promised abundance now whispered danger. Erosion scarred the fields. Crops failed. Resources dwindled. And the Moai, once embodiments of protection, now stood as reminders of choices made, of a society stretched beyond what the land could bear. The people faced crisis. As hunger spread, rival clans clashed, and the once revered statues were toppled in acts of desperation or rebellion, their proud faces thrust into the earth. The silent grandeur of the Moai, once a source of unity, now echoed with loss. Yet even in collapse, the Rapa Nui did not surrender to oblivion. They adapted. They created lithic mulching, a brilliant agricultural technique using broken volcanic rocks to trap moisture and protect the soil. They built stone enclosures shaped like boats to shield gardens from wind and salt. They forged the Birdman cult, a new religious system centered around the dramatic cliffs of Orongo. Here, chosen champions raced to retrieve the first egg of the sooty tern from a deadly offshore islet. The winner's clan gained power for a year, shifting the island's political landscape away from the Moai builders toward a more sustainable, if fragile, balance. But the island's story took another turn, one that would reshape it forever. In 1722, Dutch explorers arrived, witnessing a world already transforming. Its people scarred by scarcity, yet still fiercely resilient. More European ships followed, bringing disease, violence, and slave raids that tore families from their homeland and decimated the population. Out of thousands, only a few hundred survived. A culture that once moved mountains had to fight merely to endure, yet survive it did. And through every hardship, the Moai remained toppled, buried, weathered, but not forgotten. In the late 19th and 20th centuries, archaeologists, historians, and Rapa Nui descendants worked to restore some of the statues to their platforms, raising them once more toward the sky. Today, they stand again along the coasts at Ahutungariki. 15 giants look toward the sunrise at Raraku, half-carved Moai life frozen in time. As if the carvers stepped away only yesterday. At Ahuakivi, 7 statues face the ocean, legends saying they represent the first explorers who set sail toward the unknown. But to see them is not merely to gaze upon stone. It is to feel the heartbeat of a people who dared to turn isolation into innovation, who transformed volcanic rock into symbols of lineage and eternity. It is to witness the triumphs and the tragedies of a civilization that rose, faltered, adapted, and persisted against impossible odds. And perhaps most of all, it is to understand that Easter Island's silent grandeur is not a riddle of disappearance, but a testament to endurance. The Moai stand because the Rapa Nui carved their identity into stone. They remain because the island remembers. The wind that sweeps across the crater lakes and cliffs carries the echoes of chants once sung in the quarries. The waves that crash upon the shores beat with a rhythm older than the first voyagers. The earth beneath the statues holds the footprints of the ancestors they were meant to honor. In their silence, the Moai speak. They speak of human genius, of hubris, of devotion, of the fragile dance between people and the land that sustains them. And as you stand on that faraway island, surrounded by giants gazing eternally into the horizon, you sense that they are waiting. Not for answers, perhaps, but for understanding. For us to see in their stillness the lessons etched by time, that greatness can grow from isolation, that innovation can emerge from hardship, and that even the quietest places on Earth can hold stories vast enough to echo across centuries. In the end, the grandeur of Easter Island is not found only in its statues, but in the resilience of the people who crafted them, in the way their voices linger in the wind, in the way their history rises from the ground in stone silhouettes against the sky. Here, at the edge of the world, the past does not sleep. It stands tall, unblinking, waiting for us to listen. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from our incredible world.